Good morning, everybody. I'm going to give everybody a minute to get on this morning before I get to going because I want you to catch the beginning of my intro. So anyhow, I hope everybody, we're going to let Facebook take a minute to let everybody know that we are here. With my Sunday morning preaching, guys, I don't set a certain time that I do this. And guys, let me know if I'm on Bardell's, because sometimes I think that I do the wrong thing. I think that I end up putting it on my personal page. And not that I don't want to preach on my personal page, but somebody type in the comments that I am on Bardell's page. Because sometimes what it does is it shows me who's coming on and watching, and it's people that are also friends with me on my personal page. So then I'm like, okay, I'm not real sure where I am or not. So, good morning, Susan. I want to talk to you a little bit this morning, and we got a bunch of people jumping on. Good morning to you all. It is a really nice Sunday morning here in Georgia. I'm not real sure what the temperature is, but last night I did do a post on Bardell's, and I asked you guys what your temperature is in wherever you are, and thanks, Crystal, for letting me know. But anyhow, and everybody, you guys are freezing in so much of the country. It's crazy. I mean, people posted photos with icicles hanging off of their eyelashes. I would probably just die. I don't think that I could do it. So anyhow, guys, I want to talk a little bit on our Sunday morning preaching this morning about happiness. And you know, happiness, I was reading the definition of happiness earlier, and oh my gosh, it's all over the place, what happiness is and what happiness is to different people, and what actually happiness consists of, or how you get happiness. So it's different to everybody else. But I'm going to talk a little bit about what my personal thoughts are on happiness. And you know, some people say that excitement is happiness. So you buy something new, a new piece of equipment, let's just say a canine dryer or whatever, and you go, oh my God, this makes me so happy. That's not actually happiness. That's actually excitement, and it's great that you have that excitement, but happiness has a tendency to be a word that we use an awful lot, like the word love, and so then it kind of gets diluted in what it actually means. So I want to talk a little bit about happiness and how you get happiness and things that bring happiness to me. So sometimes we think happiness is the absence of problems, or happiness is having enough money, or happiness is having too much of this, or happiness is not having drama in our life. And actually, happiness is how you deal with all of those type things. So happiness is the ability to deal with the absence to deal with the problems that you have in your life. It's not the absence of those problems. It's how you deal with those. Happiness is not having the money. Happiness is learning to manage with what money you have. So those are all things that are inside of you that you can take and to deal with those issues. Those are all things that you can do to make for your own happiness. The happiest people are not the people that are always taken. The happy people are the people that are giving. People that are either giving of their monetary or of their abilities, or living their life by example, and people are learning from that example. A lot of you don't realize, and I say this all the time, you don't realize that some of the things that you do, that people are watching you, and you are doing an unbelievable example for them, and you are inspiring them, and you are encouraging them, and you never know that you're doing those things because they don't tell you that you're doing those things, but it's just by your actions. Maybe it's by what you put on Facebook. Maybe, all right, and I'm going to give you a prime example of that, and I am going to really botch this up because I don't remember her name, and this is a terrible thing. I know that she is in Forsyth, Georgia, but there's this groomer that I have been following that has been posting photos of the dogs finished groomed with canned goods sitting beside them. And what it is she is trying to help supply a food bank. So every dog that comes in, she asks them to bring, and I'm sure, I don't know how she does it. I think a great way would be when you text them with their next appointment, say, we're trying to help raise food for the food bank, bring some canned goods when Fluffy comes in. But nonetheless, she puts the dog in the middle of the photo, surrounded by whatever canned goods the owner has brought in. And she is actually helping stock a food bank. And the dogs and her customers are helping her do that. And she's doing remarkable things in that, one, she's building great awareness about her business in the community. Okay? She's telling the community what kind of person she is. She is a giving person. She is using her skill in grooming to help take and build the food for this food bank. Just think about that. It's kind of an odd thing. That doesn't seem like something that would fit together. It doesn't seem like that your grooming skill, the ability that you have to groom, also is going to play over into this food bank. But she is making that work. She's making that happen, which is just absolutely remarkable. So I sent her a little private message to tell her that I'm moved by what she's doing, that I'm proud of what she's doing, and I'd like to know more of what she's doing and why she's doing it. Well, I got more than I could bargain for, and I'm not going to read you her little email back to me, but it was very long and in depth. And she and her children have lived in a tent in the woods on a tiny piece of property that she could barely afford. She said she stole gas to be able to run her car to get to and from work, that she actually took food to feed her family, and that she has been in the depths of despair. I guess that's what I'm going to call it, and I don't know that she would call it that, but she has been in a low spot in her life where she had to do all of these things, and so now she's out of that spot, so she really wants to, she knows what it's like to be hungry. So what she's doing is she's giving food, and she's letting her clients help her facilitate that. Isn't that unbelievable? So anyhow, she is tackling a problem and finding a solution through dog grooming, through her own business. So the happiest of peoples are the givers, not the takers. Okay? So the people that are take are not the people that are the happiest, because they're trying to fill something with something material, or they're trying to fill their lives with things that you're doing. They're not finding their happiness within. They're not finding that contentment within. They're not finding that joy within. People cannot make us happy. People cannot make us content. Those are things that we have to get within ourselves. Guys, I'm loving these hearts. It's like fireworks. Those are things that we have to get within ourselves. So what I want us to do is I want us to be so happy in our lives and in what we're doing that other people but can't help but be happy. Happiness is contagious. If you come into your shop on Monday morning whistling and singing and excited about the new week, excited about all the things that are happening, portraying your happiness, finding joy in all kinds of things, finding joy in the dog that pooped in the cage because it was a small amount of poop and it was not diarrhea, finding joy in that, it's going to be contagious. Everybody in the shop is going to be absolutely elated. They're going to find joy in that too. When you stand there and pick up the poop and go, thank you, Lord, it wasn't diarrhea, everybody's going to burst out in laughter, and your happiness will be infectious. I want to talk a little bit because happiness and problems seem to go hand in hand in my book. So somebody's having problems and then they're not happy anymore. And I'm going to say this, and I've noticed it a lot, and I notice it in some of the other feeds too, that we have a tendency as humans, and especially when we get on this device, because nobody sees our face, Nobody sees our expressions. That we say things that are taken out of content. Paul and I were talking about it on yesterday morning. Yesterday I had made him some dressing, and he made the statement, is this is all my dressing? Like, this is all you made for me? This is all my dressing? And that's not what he meant. He goes, this entire container is my dressing? This is all, you made all of this for me? But I could have taken it, this is all for me? Like, this is all you've made for me? So a lot of times when we type in something, it doesn't come across with that warm and fuzzy when we mean it warm and fuzzy. It comes across as harsh and negative. And part of that is exactly the mindset that whoever is reading it is in. That if they are already in a negative mindset, then they're going to take that as negative. If they're in a positive mindset, they may not take it as negative. So we have to really choose our words appropriately. Guys, I cannot tell you how many times I go to post on some type of feed or whatever it may be, and I type it in, and then it's backspace, backspace, back, because I read it back, and that's not how I meant it in a negative form, but it kind of came across as I typed it in a negative form. So I work really hard to choose my words correctly so that it's not negative. It's all very positive. But I was going to say, talking about our problems is a huge addiction. It's a huge addiction. So what happens is somebody starts talking negative about somebody, and we all jump on the boat. We need to break that habit, guys. We need to break that habit. So when things start going south, don't keep chiming in. Don't keep making it, because all we're doing is taking the happiness out of whatever it was that started the entire thing. You, by commenting, even sometimes when we're defending something, we don't do anything but add fuel to that fire. And that does nothing for anybody. That doesn't do it's like, oh, y'all all right, watching a train wreck. And that's what it's like. It's like watching a train wreck. All right, so the problem is not the problem. The problem is how we handle it, okay? So if you don't make a problem the source of everything. So the problem is here at the top. It's how you deal with that problem that makes it not a problem. Okay, guys? So the problem is that somebody didn't show up today for their appointment. Okay? That's the problem. The way you deal with it is what you do with the time that you would have had that dog come in. So it gave you extra time to mix a bunch of shampoos that will help you on Tuesday, because we've got an overload of dogs on Tuesday. Or you took that little bit of time to pull some of the client cards or send some reminders, or to post something on your Facebook that you wouldn't have had time to do otherwise. So that huge problem of, oh my God, they didn't show today, has turned into a blessing. A blessing in that you got to do these particular things. A blessing that it gave you extra time to do this. Whatever the case may be. So whatever the problem is, and I saw somebody's post the other day that said that they had come home to groom their own personal dogs and their clipper broke, and so they groomed all their dogs with their scissors. Yes, it was a problem that the clippers didn't work, but marvel in that you had the capability to groom those dogs with just the scissors. Find happiness in just that. Find contentment in knowing that you have the ability to do that without the other tool that you needed. Guys, we have to notice the little things. God, I'm on a tangent this morning. Anyhow, you've got to notice the little things. Find happiness in the little things. We're always sometimes so busy, and I'm going to switch that off. Sometimes we're so busy in trying to see the big picture that we don't find happiness in the little things that make up that big picture. It's like looking at that painting, let's say right there behind me. All right, looking at that painting, it's a beautiful, huge painting, guys. It's a gorgeous, huge painting. But marvel, sorry guys, I got stuff coming in. But marvel in the beautiful pink trees. See how gorgeous just the little blooms on that pink tree are. Because sometimes we only see the big picture. We only see the big picture. And there's so much in that big picture that we're missing. So guys, the other thing is I want to say is you've got to change the way that you look at things, okay? You absolutely have to change the way you think about things, the way that you look at things to be able to find that happiness. Again, going back to the dog that pooped in the cage, that it wasn't diarrhea. Find happiness in that. But if you are not willing to change the way that you look at things, the way that you perceive things, then life's not going to change for you. Okay? So if you don't make those changes, if you don't make a conscious effort to make those changes, then you're not going to see things differently. You're not going to find happiness in the small things. You're not going to be content in the place that you are in your life right now. It's kind of like a diet, guys. So you pay $15 a month for Weight Watchers, okay, for the app. You can buy the app and you can pay $15 a month for the rest of your life. But if you don't use that app, if you don't do the things that they tell you to do to be able to lose that weight, you're never going to lose that weight. You're going to be exactly the same weight that you are right now if you're not going to be bigger. So if you've got the tools and you know how to do it, then do it. Because it's not going to do it by itself. It's just like if you buy a pair of $300 shears and you set them on the table at the dog's feet. Guess what, guys? They're not going to cut that dog. I don't care how much money you pay for those shears. You have to be the one that picks those shears up and makes them work. So when you're changing your life and when you're changing the way that you look at things, because when you change those things, you change the world around you. Okay, guys? And it's not to say that we don't have sorrow, and it's not to say that we're not unhappy about certain things. I try really, really hard to be as positive. Paul and I both. We try to be as positive as possible. But that doesn't mean that we don't have moments where we have sadness or moments where things don't go the way that we want and we don't stomp our feet for a minute and go, I can't believe this happened this way. But then we do turn around and find the good in that. So guys, this week, guess what? It's your responsibility. You are the only one that can change the course of how your day goes. You are the only one that can see the good in things. You are the only one that can inspire others, okay? You are the only one that can make your day a happiness day. You are the only one that can make you content. Nobody else can do it for you. Nobody else can make that happen for you. You have to do it. Just like the Weight Watchers app. You got to use it. You got to make it happen. Guys, I don't know what got me on this tangent this morning, but nonetheless, I am on this tangent this morning. And I want you all to be happy. I want you all to feel fulfilled. I want you all to find happiness and contentment in where you are. And that can be a multitude of places. I'm not saying don't strive to get to the top of the mountain. But I'm saying find happiness in sitting on this hill. I'm saying find happiness about being in the valley. If you're in the valley and you're looking up at the mountain, and the mountain is where you want to be, then by all means, I want you to climb to that mountain. But I want you to sit in that valley and run your fingers through the grass. I want you to sit in that valley and marvel at the view of the mountain. I want you to appreciate the valley, guys. I want you to know that there is contentment about being in the valley. So guys, it makes me want to cry because I think I want to go and run my fingers through the grass in the valley. All right, guys, everybody have a wonderful week. All kinds of new things coming with Barred Elbows. Please follow us on our YouTube channel if you do not already. There's a bunch of stuff that I'm going to be doing there. Like I said last week, I didn't even know I have a YouTube channel. Who knows? Paul has me all covered. Thank you, Lord. All right, guys, find contentment, find happiness in right where you are, and make everybody else happy too. Bye, guys.